Welcome to Young Climber. We are back again to give you another unique story in the Kingdom of Eswatini. We are still profiling professionals and people who are passionate about what they do. And my guest today just speaks to all of that because, you know, she moved from being professional and she is now feeding her passion. I am talking about none other than Nontobeko Nxumalo, who talks about being a creative consultant and most importantly now, a food specialist. Nontobeko, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you for having me.
You know, yours is unique. I'm one who loves food, and you know, I like to converse about food, but you have a long journey before the food specialist part. Can you talk about your upbringing, you know, experiences that have shaped you and made you who you are, that contributed to the person that you are, and especially like your educational background?
Okay, so I come from a staunch Christian background, and that has definitely shaped my beliefs. It has shaped my values and my principles. So that's what makes me who I am today. And with my educational background, well, I studied at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. So I have a background in management and communications, media and marketing. So I basically apply that in my work that I do today.
And how did you choose, I mean, to go into the media world or management and communication specifically? What are some of the decisions that pushed you or who pursued you towards that career? Because, you know, not so cool. I want to be a doctor, a teacher, a police. But how did you pick that path specifically?
To be honest, it was just personal interest. It wasn't that maybe it was planned. You know, I just looked at something that I would like to do to pursue as a career, and marketing and communication was what I wanted to do. So that's how I got into the field.
And in your working life or your post-grad life, you then went further into marketing at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Why did you choose to then further your studies in marketing specifically?
So I just wanted to solidify. I mean, my majors were marketing and media.
Yes.
So I just wanted to solidify my qualifications and my education. So that's why I went via the marketing route. Yeah.
And one interesting fact about you is, and I really do have to read this one. You have a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of Arts, and a Bachelor of Commerce. These are three different faculties, or you know, three different professions. What made you then delve into all three of them, and how do they then work together collectively in what you're doing now?
I think it's just wanting to be diverse, you know, versatile basically, and to have career options, you know, because I could always lean toward marketing, I can always lean toward media. So I took that decision based on I would like to be versatile and I would like to have, you know, choices when it came to career options. So,
And speaking to the idea of diversity, you know, and versatility, how important do you think, because you've done it, how important is it for people to mix and match or merge, you know, different careers to make it work all together for good?
I mean, we live in a world that is fast-paced. It's ever-changing, so you have to be able to adapt. So if you are versatile, then you can easily adapt to whatever changes. Economic landscape is always changing. Business landscape is always changing. The labor market is always changing. So that's why you have to be able to adapt.
Nontobeko, we get to talk about your role as an export trainee inductee, but I need you to define that one first, because you know, I've never heard of it, and you know, your experience and what you gained from this role, this position.
So I was part of a training that was facilitated by Women in Trade and Development, and so it was to capacitate women for export trading. Since I'm in the culinary space, there are certain skills that you have to learn so that you're able to expand and grow and tap into a global market. So one of the things that stood out for me was food safety standards, which is to ensure that you eliminate any hazards that can occur during the production process.
Oh, okay.
So one of the systems is called HACCP, which you have to acquire so that you're able to export and trade at a global space.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's safe to ask you this one. Can you give an example of where you could possibly work? I mean, having trained as a food safety officer or gotten that specific training, where in the industry do you fit in?
Well, obviously, I have a product.
Yes, yes.
So it's called Peko sauce.
Yes.
It's a sweet chili sauce. So having a product that is food, I basically have to apply that with regard to my product.
Okay.
You know, so just ensuring that my product is safe for consumers to consume, to eat. You know, and making sure that when I grow and expand toward a level where I can export, I do have certification that makes the product eligible at a global scale.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, it's safe to take it out there.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
safe to take it out there and it's safe to consume.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I can apply the knowledge and the skills that I have learned.
And then also move on to your journey of being a marketing analyst and, you know, basically the freelancing. Can you talk about your position as a marketing analyst and what it entailed mainly?
I would say marketing is broad, hey?
Yeah.
So for me, what I've been focusing on is the creative aspect of marketing, which I really enjoy,
Yeah.
which comes with content creation, which comes with copywriting, which comes with video production, graphic design, visual content and design. So that's been my focus and the work that I've been doing. I have touched on a bit of the core of marketing, which is marketing strategies. I've done work with regard to that. So yeah, that's what it entails basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the conventional type of marketing, but yours is a bit broader, you know, it entails so many other things. COVID came, you know.
Yeah.
Beginning of COVID, you became a creative consultant, which I'd like you to define, but you're wearing so many hats during this time, from concept development, strategy analysis and development, amongst so many other things. Beginning of COVID, we all know how difficult it was, you know, to be even doing your normal job. How did you manage to penetrate anyone at that time or any space during lockdown time?
Yeah, I mean, when COVID came, it really changed the dynamics of how we work, you know, because we're so used to physical presence, you know. But when COVID came, we had to adapt, you know, and learn how to work online. And I think because I was already in the digital space when it comes to marketing, it was easy to transition, you know. So I just adopted, you know, how to work online, just identifying opportunities online that can enable me to continue working. So yeah, that's how I was able to maneuver during COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Still talking to food specialist Nontobeko Nxumalo. When we return, we're still talking about lockdown and how you were moving through and, you know, getting the money when people were locked down. But that is only when we return. We have returned and welcome back to Young Climber. If you're watching, today we are speaking to Nontobeko Nxumalo, who is of course a food specialist, and now we are unlocking the food specialist journey. Still during COVID in October, you then tapped into the world of culinary arts. How did that transition even happen? You know, we know that corporate is where some people's hearts are, but then now I feel like you were more on the passionate side. How did you transition from one to the other?
So ngiyakuthanda ukudla.
Yeah.
I love cooking. I'm passionate about food. I'm passionate about flavor, trying different things when it comes to food. So during COVID, all of us, we were in the house, so we had so much time. You had time to try different things, your passions, to explore your passions.
Yeah.
So it was one of those moments. I was exploring my passion, which is food. And I was just trying different things and flavors. I love sauces. I love gravy when it comes to food.
Yeah.
So I was just experimenting, and different flavors. And that's how the sauce came about, Peko sauce. That's how I transitioned, because I was already doing some marketing work, consultancy, which you can say maybe it's corporate. So being home and then having so much time, then I was able to just explore what I'm passionate about, and that's how that business came about.
And now, speaking about Peko, you did say that you had a corporate life, a professional life. And how has that, helped you in your new business? How have some of the strategies or the knowledge that you adopted there helped you in your new business?
So obviously sometimes things can be theoretical,
yes,
when it comes to okay, I do marketing, but now having a product, now you can be practical. So firstly, obviously, it's identifying a market. Who's my target market, who's my target audience for my product, how can I sell it, how can I promote it, how can I brand it. So all of that comes into play. So with that experience from marketing and communication, I was able to take that and apply it into how can I grow this business, how can I sell this product. And it has come in handy. It has helped me.
And how have you ensured brand visibility for Peko sauce, even if it meant you how have you made sure that as a Maswati we see the brand, we notice the brand?
So obviously it started with getting the brand to eMaswati, getting the product to eMaswati, because you may have this good product, but right?
Yes.
So you need to get it to the people. So what I did, firstly I shared the idea with my family, and with the support that I got, then they also came up with ideas like, this is how you can pursue, these are the avenues that you can use to promote the product. So I started with doing pop-up stalls at events. I went to a number of events. So I would put my table there and my sauces, and then interact with people and let them taste, because they didn't know the sauce. And as much as it was well packaged, but so to introduce it, then people had to taste it. So from there, then people got to know, oh, there's this sauce and it tastes really good. And then also I did pop-up stalls at malls, at the Gables. Some people may remember. So that's how, that's one of the strategies that I used. And also I used, I could say, brand positioning. That means that you align with certain brands that are going to endorse your product. So I did trading with some of the biggest events in the country, and that is your MTN Bushfire, and that's your Luju. So with that, you are taking the product to the people. And secondly, you are aligning, positioning, with certain brands that are creating a platform that can endorse you as a business that is starting off. So that was also one of the strategies that I used. And also creating a positive customer perception, that comes with the branding, how your product looks, because it has to be appealing to the eye. That's how that you can sell, just by your product looking good. So that was one of the things, and just building onto that, then creating a positive perception. You know.
And you know, having been in all of that, I mean, taking your brand to the people, I mean, it's nerve-wracking,
Yeah,
especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But how have some of those experiences bettered the quality of your product and your brand? Now, because people taste and then they're like, hey, someone will be like, I'm not sure about it. I don't like it. Or some will be like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
How in the years have you tweaked your brand, treat the quality of your product according to the different places that, you know, you've been activating it, and the influence, of course, from the customers?
So obviously you have to listen to your customers. That's the first thing. You have to listen what your customers have to say.
Yeah.
That's how you can be able to then build on to how your customers basically perceive, you know, your product, how it tastes, what it looks like, what is convenient for them. For us, the feedback has been really good when it comes to the taste and the flavor. So we didn't really have to make any improvements when it comes to the flavor.
Yes.
The improvements that we had to make was what platforms can we explore to get the product to the customers, because starting off, you know, you have to find or identify platforms where it can be convenient for a customer to get your product, to buy your product.
Yeah.
So that has been one of the challenges, you know, that how can we get the product to the people in a way that is convenient. So hence, you know, going to the events, that was a start, but now, you know, an event only happens once. You know, it's not a daily thing. You don't do it every day. So now, if your customers want the sauce on a daily basis, where do they get it?
Yeah.
So that's been one of the challenges that we've had to navigate. That where do we get the product, you know, for customers to be able to access it.
And ngiva kahle lento le show, because you know, sometimes at events you have people coming from Big Bend, and if they buy it once, then umuntu wase Big Bend tophinze umphole. But what are some of the efforts that you are making? Because now, you know, we are more comfortable with local brands being in our biggest retail stores. What are some of the efforts that you've been trying to make to tap into the big retail industry when it comes to Peko?
Yeah. So when you have to tap to the big retail space, yes. So it's a process. There's a lot of things that you have to have in place before you are able to have your product with certain retailers. You know, so you just have to be patient with yourself when it comes to such processes. However, we have been able to tap into artisanal spaces where we've been able to have our products at the shelves. Yes, we currently have the product at Gogo Startups, which is upper Empalwini Mall, opposite Pick and Pay.
All right.
So that's where you can get the sauce.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's just
and also
a start.
So Fresh Hub, which is at Ngwenya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I like the fact that you mentioned the HACCP certification thing, because last year you went to a food show in Taiwan, and you know, that's global standards, global level, where you got to showcase who you are as a food specialist and your product. Can you just talk about that experience, how it happened, who called who, what's when I want to Taiwan, who was funding the trip, you know, how did the whole thing happen, and of course the experience of it all, and is Peko still in Taiwan, or what's happening?
Okay, so it was facilitated by IPA and with WeTAD as well. So that's how the product was selected to participate at the Kaohsiung Food Show. So the experience was great. Yes. Unfortunately, I didn't go personally.
Okay.
I had a representative going on behalf of me.
Okay.
So I'd share more about the experience, like
If-
what it was like if I was there, you know, and just share the reception. But from what I was told, it went really well. Even from the images that were shared and the videos that were shared, I was told that it, you know, people received it well. Yeah.
I love that so much, but you know, we need to be a bit realistic about the challenges of being an entrepreneur. Sometimes ungaya kule event uhambe nemapheko lang 20, where kind nemapheko lang 20. What are some of the challenges or experiences that were like, oh, I'm giving up today, that you went through, and how did you overcome them? Because you know, I'm sitting here with you means you overcame them, definitely.
Yeah. Challenges that I have had, I mean, on a daily basis. I mean, it's not easy to run a business. It really isn't easy because, firstly, like you say, you know, you can project ukuthi ngifuna ukuthengisa ama-sources langaka, yabona, and my returns angaka, yabona, but ukhanze ukuthi akwendeki lokho, you know. So that on its own, it's a challenge. You know, and you need to navigate, how do I overcome that challenge? So one of the challenges has been tapping into the market, basically. How do we establish a clientele base, customer base, you know, and how do we break into the market? So that has been one of the challenges. And like I said, there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to business. You know, there's the financial aspect, there's the marketing aspect, you know, there's the business aspect of it, you know. Export now, you know, it has its own moving parts, and then at the same time you have to sell the product, you have to introduce it to the market. So there's a lot of things that are happening. So it's all of that is challenging on its own. And also the capital, because these things need capital, they need money. So it's like, how do I navigate all of that? So it's just being patient. I wouldn't say I've had moments where I want to give up, because I'm the type of person who's resilient. You know, I believe in you, just keep going, you know. You do what you need to do, you need to keep going. So it's just been those challenging moments that need you to be patient.
And you know, when
and pace yourself.
And where we saw you, or most people got light of you, was when you were awarded Ushiro. Imagine that. Just imagine that. In the year 2024, you were awarded with the Standard Bank Eswatini Shiro Award. What did that mean for you and your brand and recognition of your brand?
Firstly, I just want to appreciate Standard Bank, you know, for honoring women, for recognizing women who are trailblazers in their fields of expertise. We really appreciate that. It was so humbling, and I was so appreciative of the award. And really what it meant for me, it was people now can appreciate the work that goes into starting a business, that goes into creating a product, you know. It's not just about being awarded, you know, and it's really about appreciating the work that we put into producing something. So for me, it was like, you know, Standard Bank saying,
Standard Bank. Standard
passing
Bank.
the baton. You know, when you're doing relay, like it was like Standard Bank is just passing the baton and saying, keep running. That's what it meant for me. And I think for the consumers, it just gave them that confidence that, you know,
this is a brand you can trust.
Exactly. The work is being put in, and this is a brand that you can trust, and they are believing in the brand. Therefore, you can also believe in the brand and the product. So
I love that so much. You know, it's the most interesting part about your story. But just lastly, as we close off, any parting words? What is the future for Peko Sauce? Are you going to expand the range? And what advice can you give to any young person who is watching, who wants to go into the space of culinary, space of being a creative consultant? Where should they start? You know.
Definitely we are expanding, we're growing. Peko Sauce is going to be a household brand. That's where that's where we are headed.
Yes.
And I mean, this business journey, it's iterative, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
You know, so you just need, like I said, you need to pace yourself, and so we patient. We know that this is for the long haul.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely we have plans of expanding locally and also at a global scale, regional and global eventually. So those are the plans for Peko Sauce. So look out for Peko Sauce. And then for young people, what I can share is firstly, like, we need God. I want to share that, you know, like, God is the foundation of everything. He's the source of everything. And firstly, you know, before I share any other thing, that let that be a foundation, you know, for whatever that they're pursuing, whatever aspirations that they have.
Yeah.
And then also just to share that in whatever that they're doing, you know, they should be focused.
Yeah.
You know, focus. There are going to be challenges, definitely, but just focus, understand where you're going and where you're headed, and yeah, like, keep your eye on the prize, basically, and be disciplined and also be consistent. Because another thing that we do is, if something doesn't work out or it seems challenging, then you want to stop, you know, you want to give up, you want to, you know, just be consistent.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can use an analogy of sowing a seed. You know, when you sow a seed, you sow it in the ground, right? And in the ground, gumnyama.
Yeah.
You know, uhlanyela emhlabathini akubonakali. So sometimes process, whatever that you're doing, whether you're studying, whether you're pursuing a degree, whether you want to start a business, whether you want a corporate job, you know, you're looking into being employed, you know, sow those seeds, whatever it looks like. Whether you are apply or ufuna umsebenzi, chubeka apply, you know, whether you want to start a business, you know, come up with those ideas. Your school, you know, study. So you are sowing that seed in the ground. And sometimes what's the output, you know, what's the outcome? But eventually it's going to grow and it's going to be this plant that will bear fruit. So that's what I can share, that focus and be consistent and trust in the Lord God, for He teaches us to profit and He leads us in the way that we should go.
A big thank you to you, Nontobeko, for joining us. You know, thank you for honoring our invitation, and, you know, all the best with Peko, and we hope to see it being an international brand. And of course, we do hope that eMaswati will continue to be receptive of your brand and continue to consume it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you heard it. All it takes is consistency. Just remain consistent in what you do. But Kebabule Makaya, we were coming to you from a Bahle Gallery, where you can get to enjoy some hot coffee or some good food, and of course, you know, the beauty of nature. But until next time, from myself, Tabelo Dlamini, I do have to sign out. Please stay locked in on Eswatini TV. We will be back next week Tuesday at 6:30. Good night.